Deep, cinematic, serious, documentary tone. Space usually follows a strict set of rules. Planets orbit, stars burn, and comets melt. For billions of years, these laws have kept our solar system in order. But every once in a long while, something comes out of the deep, dark void that refuses to follow these rules. A mysterious object named 3I Atlas has just flown past our sun. This was a moment astronomers were waiting for. They were scared and they were excited. They thought the sun would destroy it. They thought the heat would melt it down to nothing. But that is not what happened. Instead of dying, the object survived. And instead of answering our questions, this close encounter has only created more mysteries. If this thing is a comet, it is the strangest, most rebellious comet we have ever seen in the history of science. It is breaking the laws of physics that we thought we understood. And if it is not a comet, if it is something else, then the world needs to pay attention. Because 3I Atlas has survived the fire. It has changed its speed. It has changed its course. And now it is coming for us next. Welcome to Space Flux Hub. Today we are looking at the anomaly that just shocked the scientific world. To understand why this event is so special, we first have to look at the timing. It feels like a cosmic coincidence. This interstellar visitor arrived right now, in late 2025. This year is not a normal year for our solar system. We are currently living through a time called the solar maximum. This is a chaotic window of time that opens only once every 11 years. Right now, our sun is at the peak of its anger. Its magnetic field is twisted and messy. It is whipping up giant storms on its surface. These storms launch massive explosions called solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Think of them as giant shotguns firing billions of tons of hot plasma into space. You have probably seen the evidence of this yourself. Throughout 2025, people all over the world have seen the sky turn red and green at night. We are seeing bright auroras in places that never see them. That is the sun physically touching our atmosphere with its power. Our solar maximum began around October 2024, and it usually lasts for about 1 year. We are just coming off that violent peak right now. And it was exactly into this fiery storm that 3I Atlas decided to fly. For any object, whether it is a local asteroid or a visitor from another star, the most dangerous time in its life is perihelion. This is the point where it gets closest to the star. This is the ultimate test. At this distance, the object isn't just getting warm. It is being smashed by X-rays, extreme radiation, and waves of charged particles. Before this moment, 3I Atlas was like a ghost. It was too far away to see clearly. It was dark, small, and silent. We pinned all our hopes on one single moment to see what it really was. Earlier this week, NASA released a new image. It was taken by a satellite that is currently orbiting Mars. This satellite was in the perfect position. It captured a photo of 3I Atlas at the exact moment it passed closer to Mars than it will ever to Earth. Scientists were very hopeful. They expected to see a shape. They expected to see details, but they were disappointed. The image looks like a big fuzzy white dot. It was boring. It revealed no secrets. There were no alien antennas, no metallic shine, just a cloud of fog. But do not let this boring image fool you. While the camera on Mars failed to see anything special, the sensors watching the sun were about to pick up something impossible. Because Earth was on the opposite side of the solar system, we could not see the object with our normal telescopes. We would be blinded by the sun. So we had to use special satellites. We have spacecraft called GOES and SOHO floating in space. These machines have a special tool called a coronagraph. It's a simple trick. A small metal disc inside the telescope blocks the bright face of the sun. It creates a fake eclipse. This allows us to see the faint atmosphere around the sun and anything that dares to fly through it. As 3I Atlas flew into the view of these special cameras, the data started coming in, and almost immediately the scientists began to panic. The first strange thing was the brightness. As 3I Atlas approached the sun, it began to glow. Now, it is normal for things to get brighter when they get close to a light source, but this was not a slow increase, it was an explosion of light. In just a few days, the object became 400 times brighter than it was before. To give you a comparison, a normal comet usually gets about 10 times brighter, maybe 100 times if it cracks open, but 400 times? That suggests something extreme is happening. It suggests the object wasn't just reflecting light, it was reacting to it. Then came the colors. This is where the physics gets confusing. Back in the summer, 3I Atlas looked red. This is the standard uniform for interstellar objects. After flying through space for millions of years, cosmic radiation usually bakes the surface of these rocks into a dark, reddish color. Since comets are dusty, they reflect red light. It made sense. But in early September, it turned green. We still don't know why. And then, as it hit the closest point to the sun, it changed again. It turned blue. This breaks the pattern. A natural comet usually becomes redder as it gets close to the sun because it releases more dust. To go from green to blue is weird. It means the light shifted in the complete opposite direction. We are left with only a few explanations. Explanation 1 is that the object suddenly released a massive cloud of gas that glows blue. Maybe it's carbon monoxide, but the amount of gas needed to make it that bright is huge. Explanation 2 is that the sun destroyed it. We thought we were watching the death of a comet shattering into a billion pieces of ice. But we know explanation 2 is wrong, because 3I Atlas didn't die. It survived. It came out the other side. This brings us to a third possibility. If you were looking for a sign of an engine turning on, a sudden intense blue flash followed by a change in speed, this is exactly what it would look like. This brings us to the biggest mystery of all, the movement. Astronomers have a name for this. They call it non-gravitational acceleration, or NGA. The sun is the boss of the solar system. Its gravity controls the speed and path of everything, from giant Jupiter down to a tiny speck of dust. We can calculate these paths with perfect math. If an object moves differently than the math says it should, it means a force other than gravity is pushing it. Comets do this sometimes. They heat up, gas shoots out like a rocket thruster, and they wobble. It's messy, but it's natural. But Atlas didn't just wobble. For months, it fell toward the sun in a perfectly straight line. It had zero NGA. It acted like a dead rock. Until October 29th. On the day it was closest to the sun, the object didn't just drift, it swerved. The data confirms that Atlas pushed itself away from the sun. It moved 135 kilometers off its path, and it accelerated. It sped up by 60 kilometers per second relative to the sun. That's a combined shift of nearly 200 kilometers in a single day. Let's compare that to other objects so you can understand how crazy this is. The second interstellar visitor we ever saw was called Borisov. It had an NGA of about 100 kilometers per day. There was a famous monster comet called Hale-Bopp. It had massive amounts of gas shooting out of it, but it only had 1% of the acceleration that we just saw with Atlas. Atlas isn't just releasing gas, it's practically sprinting. The sun hit it, and it seemingly hit back. It used the energy or the heat to push itself faster than any comet we have ever recorded. If the speed is frightening, the shape of the object is even more confusing. Let's look at the images taken on November 8th, just days after the solar encounter. This does not look like a comet. We see a bright center, the core, extending 500,000 kilometers. But shooting out from this core are 7 distinct, sharp jets. Comet tails are usually blown back by the wind from the sun, like hair blowing in the wind. But these jets? Some are pointing away from the sun, while others are firing directly into the sun. We know 3I Atlas spins around once every 16 hours. In a normal situation, that spin should act like a blender. It should smear these jets into one smooth, fuzzy cloud. But these beams remain sharp and separate. It implies that the force shooting them out is very powerful. And then, just 24 hours later, the shapeshifter changed again. By November 9th, the jets were gone. They had merged into a single giant cloud. This doesn't look like a tail. It looks like smoke rising from a fire. This cloud stretches nearly 3 million kilometers into space. And hiding inside this cloud is something called an anti-tail. This is a tail that points straight toward the sun. To keep a structure that large facing into the solar wind while moving through the hottest part of the solar system is almost impossible for a normal ball of ice and dirt. Here is the reality we must face. 3I Atlas lost a massive amount of gas and dust. It was hit by solar flares. It was cooked by the sun. Usually, a small comet would break apart under this stress. It would crumble into dust, but Atlas stayed solid. This tells us about the core. This is not a loose pile of gravel. This is a solid, massive object. Scientists have tried to guess how big it is. Some say it is 5 kilometers wide. Others think it is closer to 10 kilometers wide. That makes 3I Atlas 20 times larger than Oumuamua, the first visitor. It is 10 times larger than Borisov. Think about the odds of this. What are the chances of an object this big flying through deep space for billions of years? It had to dodge stars. It had to dodge black holes. It traveled through emptiness forever. And then it just happened to arrive in our solar system exactly during the 1 month when our sun was at its peak power. The odds are astronomical. It is literally 1 in a million. So what are we looking at? Is it a freak of nature? Is it a rock with a strange chemical mix inside it? Or is it a probe from a silent civilization that used the sun to recharge? NASA and astronomers all over the world are working right now to understand the data. We are trying to read the story hidden in that blue flash and those 7 jets. It is not an easy job. But we do not have to wait long for the next chapter. 3I Atlas is finished with the sun. It is now heading away, and directly in its path is Earth. Mark your calendars. On December 19th, 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to our planet. It will be safe, it won't hit us, but it will be close enough for us to see. This will be the clearest look we will ever get at an object from another star system. Every powerful eye we have, from the James Webb Telescope in space to the giant radio dishes in the desert, will be locked onto it. We are going to stare at this visitor until it gives us its secrets. We don't know what we will find on December 19th. It might be a crumbling rock, finally breaking apart. Or it might be something that forces us to rewrite our history books. Whatever it is, you will want to see it. We will be tracking every moment of this encounter here on this channel. To stay updated on the approach of 3i Atlas and to see the images from December 19th as soon as they are released, make sure you subscribe to Space Flux Hub. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss the update. The truth is incoming, and it is moving fast. I'll see you in the next one.